Hello everybody, welcome back to another video with Kat about Raid Shadow Legends. Today, it's a big day. I did it against all odds. I am fusing THOLIN FOULBEARD today. Holy moly. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna do the actual fusion, then I'm gonna talk about, the planning process, some of the biggest obstacles, what saved me, and then the biggest lessons that came out of this. So this is going to be kind of a video reference for the future for other people who have never done a fusion before, who want to do a fusion, haven't done one before. I did the Fabian fusion a couple months ago. That was pretty cool. And I expected this to be more difficult in a way, but I actually didn't feel like it was that much more difficult. It was a bit stressful. I think any fusion is going to be a bit stressful, and I think you're always going to hit a point where you're like, this is not going to happen. I definitely don't think this is something that is a free-to-play kind of situation. Like, you absolutely need to wail a little bit when you're doing this, and I definitely did. But with this being my second fusion, I kind of knew what the whole process would be like. I kind of knew that I was going to have the ups and downs. So we're going to go into all of that. If you're starting Raid Shadow, if you want to start a new account with Raid Shadow Legends or start the game, if you've never played before, you're probably not going to get this fusion. But until the end of the month, I believe, you can use the promo code Demon Slayer and get THOLIN FOULBEARD, the guy that I've been fighting so hard on. And what I do know from somebody in my chat is that he is instrumental into like blasting through early stuff in game. So if you've never played before and you want to try it out, or if you didn't get to the fusion and you want to kind of test him out, the way to do so is to click the link in the description. Now, when you do that, you're also going to get the legendary Corrado Fox Hunter. You'll get Chagor once you hit level 10, Mausoleum Mage once you hit level 20, and Lady Annabelle once you hit level 30. So all of those champions are going to go into your inbox on your account. And then in the first 24 hours, you have to use that promo code Demon Slayer in order to get this THOLIN FOULBEARD. So this is the first time they've ever given away the champion during the fusion. And it was actually pretty useful for people to kind of test him out and see if he worked well. That promo code is only for new players. So you got to use the link in the description, get all those other great guys, and then you get this legendary dwarf. So, I'm done waiting. We're going to get him right now. Right now, man. Let's get him. Oh, and 1 million silver. Good thing I didn't do the gear enhancement event. I knew I was going to have to upgrade him. Why are they making me wait so long? Oh, I was so scared. 30,000 tournament points. Thank you. Clan versus clan. Okay, that was one thing I did on purpose. I waited till it was clan versus clan because I knew I was going to get all of those points. I've never had him before, and he's a legendary, so I get 30,000 points. Holy moly, look at this guy. So I've never really had a second to look at him closely. So especially when you see this little promo bit right there, it doesn't really do him justice. Like, really, look at him. Look at his flaming eyes and all the colors. Holy crap. He's got, like, even little glowing emblems here on his belt. I love it. I think I just love him extra because it took so much work to get him. Oh, my God. He has got a decapitated devil head on his back. Holy shit. This is great. I did not know that. Okay. I am very happy right now. So we're going to upgrade him to hell. And before we do that, actually, I'm going to talk about the planning that went into this. This was my original plan. So all the blue stars on here denote places that I said, okay, that's where I'm going to, put all of my effort in. I had this little area ready because I knew I had a retreat and a trip out to see my family. There are some events that I typically always do. Summon Rush, Champion Training, and Classic Arena are 3 events that I always have like hardly any problem with. The Summon Rush and the Champion Chases tend to be where I wail, and that's the only way I can get there. Here is what actually happens. So you'll see that I ended up, staying right on track. When we got to Ice Golem, I didn't worry about it. What did happen, though, is they had an event where for the event dungeon, which is where I want to be spending a lot of energy anyways, and that's still going on till August. So if you want to jump in, event dungeon is great. You get a lot of pinpoint gear, which is super, super important. So I ended up doing this dungeon diver event, and I wasn't planning on it, But that was important because I got to the dragon tournament and I was out of town that weekend and I just didn't get to it. I couldn't. I didn't have Wi-Fi where I was at. So it was okay. So it ended up working the way it was supposed to. Everything else pretty much stayed with it, except I didn't do the last gear enhancement and I did do the dungeon divers. So a big shift on here was that I was not planning on doing the last two dungeon diver events, and I did. And the biggest surprise out of this whole thing was that I really prefer the dungeon divers over especially the gear enhancement events. The gear enhancement events tend to drain my silver, and that's super frustrating for me because you need silver to do a lot of other things. And, not having any, I felt like I couldn't do other regular things in the game because I felt like all silver needed to go to that event. So I think in a future fusion, I'm super comfortable with the dungeon divers because that's something I can just, select multi-battles, spend gems for energy, and it just goes and it just stacks up. Especially now that I'm further along in the dungeons than I was with Fabian. Those were the only major shifts. We're going to upgrade. We're going to see how much I can upgrade THOLIN FOULBEARD because I am prepared. He is who I was ready to start upgrading the second I got him. We're going to start by upgrading his level. You can see I have a bunch of force brews. We're ready to go. Get him all the way to the top. I think so. Yeah. I always like to check to make sure it's not like 3,000 points and I could just, use a couple trash champions. Okay. It's 364,000 silver. Excellent. Now we're going to upgrade his rank, and I've got 5 champions plus a chicken ready to go. Upgrade. And now, of course, what are we going to do? From the coalition event, I have a barrel, baby! And it's only 50,000 silver, but we're going to upgrade him as high as possible. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to... Yeah, I'm kind of limited on Ascension because it's always the arcane potions. But I will be getting those today. That's easy. I can mow through those in a hot second, but I'll do that later. Right now, I just wanted to get him upgraded as much as possible. I'm also really glad... I'm going to reiterate, I am very glad that I did all of this and waited just to get it for clan versus clan. I think the Force Keep is still open right now, so once I'm not recording this video, I'm going to be farming in the Force Keep a little bit more just to give him that extra boost. So, whew, we did it. Holy shit. This was a mad rush. Okay, so we're going to talk about him. I'm going to mark him as a favorite because I want to start upgrading him. I don't know. We can see what is recommended. Let's check it out. I tend to go to Hell Hades for this. Actually, his rating has dropped down, and I think that's because they nerfed him a little bit. When Boomer and I did our video talking about whether or not we were going to go after him, we realized that there was kind of... Boomer pointed out that there was this kind of looping thing that he could do, and they changed his kit. So he's not as psychotic as we thought he was going to be, but he's still, like, really good and super crazy. So he's going to be crit rate, crit damage, attack, speed. Perfect. Absolutely got plenty of kind of gear for that, so I will be upgrading him at a later time, but for now, he's doing great. So I'm going to talk about some of the biggest obstacles that I came across when I was doing this. I've already mentioned it, but it was bad timing that I had a retreat in the mountains of Malibu where there was no Wi-Fi and hardly any service, and frankly, it was a kind of situation that I'd paid and planned for it 6 months ahead of the time, so obviously I didn't know that any of this was going to be happening. So it just happened to be, it was, nobody's fault, just bad timing, but it ended up working okay. That tends to happen with the fusion events anyways. Both fusions, I've had trips. It's just something that goes with it, and it's the nature of the game. No big deal. The one thing that was a major obstacle, and this was my fault. I did not have a lot of resources saved up. So with Fabian, I had a lot more resources saved up as far as gems, shards, multi-battles. I had whaled a bit beforehand and like stocked up on all of those things. I did not do the same thing with THOLIN, and part of that was there was clan versus clan with personal rewards the day before, the day before his fusion. I forgot that you're supposed to save up resources. So if you're watching this and you're somebody if you've never done a fusion before, one big piece of advice I can give you is save up your resources when you know they're coming. So I knew this was coming like weeks ahead of time, and I still forgot to save up all my resources. I think I'd also gotten a bunch of champions, and I was trying to level them all up. So it was just one of those things. So learn from me, save your resources when you see a fusion is starting to come. And if it's a fusion you want to do, save everything you have. A couple of my biggest saves, reasons that I did okay on this was, one, I had a lot more free time than I usually do. I've been cutting back on stuff because I'm pregnant, and I'm trying to, take my time and rest and let my body catch up. So nice thing about that is a lot of the time I could just sit on the couch and go boop, 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 and just have it running while I was chilling. So that was a big save compared to last fusion. Another save was complete dumb luck in two situations. One, they had some issues with the event early on, and they had to, restart the game and like shut down the game for like a couple periods, like 2 5-minute periods in the first couple days. And luckily, because of that, I got compensation for it, namely multi-battles, which I really need, especially to do some of the dungeon divers and Fire Knight and kind of run that without paying attention. The other dumb luck was I got my login champion of Visix. So Visix the Unbowed, who I already had, but I got the second one of her the last day of the champion chase event, and she was a legendary void champion, so she was like an easy 650 points that I didn't have to wail for, and that was so helpful. And that was just complete dumb luck. So dumb luck was my savior in this entire thing. So talking about some of the biggest lessons from this, there were a couple tips that I got throughout the process, and some things I forgot. So here are some more lessons that I can impart on future fusion players. One of them is don't fuse the epics until the champion chase event. So that was a mistake I made. So we're not going to be able to go back to it, but we can see it kind of here. So you get your 4 rare champions, and they all fuse into the epic champion, and then you need those 4 epics for his case. Like this. You get these 4 epics, and they finally fuse into the champion himself. So what I recommend is just hang on to all of your rare champions, and don't fuse them into the epics until the champion chase, because then you get free points for the champion chase. So that was huge. Somebody who told me that was like, that was so smart. I should have done that. Hopefully I'll remember for the next major fusion. Also, this was something I did, and it's a good lesson. You want to kind of maximize the amount of work that you do and energy that you spend. So there's always a champion training event. And what I always did is I waited to train up, because you have to get the rares to rank 4 and level 40. So you have to do a lot of training. And same thing with the rares, with the epics. They have to be rank 5 and level 50. So there's a lot of training involved with that. So when there are champion training events, I think the last one shut down last night. But when there are champion training events, that's the time. And they're usually at kind of bookend the whole event. Yeah. So see, we have one here at the very beginning, and then one towards the end as well. And they go on for a pretty long time. They're really helpful in that sense. So they bookend the entire fusion, so that's the best time, if you can, to rank up and train all of your champions, because you get points for that. Another big thing that I forgot, and it was even a problem for me today when I was trying to get my final epic ascended, is you want to farm a bunch of potions for the ascension as soon as you possibly can. So luckily I farm the void potion keep every single Sunday. I always make it a thing. So that's not a problem, but my problem was the magic potions. I ran out of those boogers like crazy, and I had to spend 200 gems today and open up the magic potion keep, because I really needed to make this video today and not tomorrow, and I didn't want to wait any longer. So I had to bite the bullet on that one. Nice thing is, for clan versus clan right now, there are double points for the miscellaneous, which is when you just use gems. So fortunately on that front, it was okay. But don't forget to farm your potions, because you need to ascend all of those champions when you're doing a classic fusion. And last thing I would recommend is save that Ascension for when these fusions line up with clan versus clan, like right now. So I did that this morning. I ascended a bunch of the last epic champions, had them ready, because at least you're going to get some bonus points there. So it's helpful. These are all tips to maximize the amount of effort you're using, the resources you're using, and the energy you're using in order to get more out of the game. And typically these fusions take 2 weeks, so there's like no chance you are going to line up with clan versus clan at some point. So just save that part if you can for clan versus clan. So that's everything I have. Comment down below what your tips are for the fusion. Did you get THOLIN? How do you think of him so far? I may do a video where I play around with him a little bit. It may not be like a showcase because I've already done a lot of videos with THOLIN so far, but I'll probably do a follow-up, maybe about Event Dungeon is what I'm hoping to do, and use my THOLIN because he's supposed to be super, super helpful for the Event Dungeon. And the Event Dungeon's still going on till August, so we have plenty of time to fool around with that. But don't forget, if you haven't already, click the link in the description and download the game. Get Legendary Corrado Fox Hunter as soon as you open your account. Tagore, once you hit level 10, Mausoleum Mage at level 20, and Lady Annabelle at level 30. Plus, don't forget to use the promo code Demon Slayer and get THOLIN FOULBEARD if you haven't already. So that's pretty much everything I have. Let me know if you have any other questions or any other comments, and hopefully I will see you in the next fusion. Hopefully I get a breath before then. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!